afternoon and welcome to People's Voice on VOP TV. My name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and maybe I should start by saying good afternoon, fellow Nigerians. Let me make it a bit of the political style. Well, it's a mood of celebration we are in right now, and today we commemorate a significant milestone in our nation's history, Democracy Day. June 12th marks the day we remember the struggles, sacrifices, and triumph of our democratic journey. Let me bring a little bit of background story into how we got here. So, in the early 1990s, Nigeria's Third Republic was truncated by a military coup led by General Ibrahim Babangida, who seized power and prolonged military rule despite promising reforms. Under that particular regime, Babangida's regime, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, the chairman of the National Electoral Commission, NEC, played a pivotal role in conducting the June 12, 1993 presidential election, which many considered the freest and fairest in our history. Professor Nwosu's introduction of the option A4 voting system, which allowed voters to line up behind their preferred candidate, was a notable innovation in the electoral process at the time. And his dedication to democracy and electoral integrity has earned him widespread recognition, and many have called for his recognition and immortalization for his contribution to our democratic heritage. But the news is today, as we celebrate Democracy Day, we are reminded of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's acknowledgement of the contributions of our heroes, past and present. During his State of the Nation address at the National Assembly earlier today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu conferred national honors on dozens of Nigerians, including posthumous awards to late Kudirat Abiola, who received the Commander of the Federal Republic title, and notable recognition for Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who was also conferred the Grand Commander of the Order of Niger. We also note the posthumous honors bestowed upon Shehu Musa Yaradua, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, Ken Saro-Wiwa, and other members of the Ogoni Nine, whose sacrifices would never be forgotten in our history. On that day in June 12, 1999, Nigerians bravely exercised their democratic rights, participating in the election with Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, popularly known as MKO, emerging as the winner under the Social Democratic Party SDP, while Bashir Tofa ran under the National Republican Convention NRC. However, Babangida annulled the results, citing electoral malpractices, and handed over to an interim government that was short-lived. Subsequently, General Sani Abacha seized power in November 1993, same year the election held, further entrenching military rule and intensifying the struggle for democracy. Abacha's regime was marked by widespread human rights abuses and repression of pro-democracy activists. MKO Abiola's imprisonment in the year 1994 for treason after he came out, bold enough to declare himself the rightful winner of the June 12 election, and his eventual death in 1999 became a rallying cry for democracy advocates in Nigeria and even beyond the shores of our country. Nigerians from all walks of life, civil society, human rights activists, and pro-democracy groups like the National Democratic Coalition, NADECO, the Campaign for Democracy, CD, and the Civil Liberties Organization, CLO, fought tirelessly for democratic reforms. The struggle for democracy was not without its challenges. Nigerians had to deal with a lot. Many Nigerians suffered imprisonment, harassment, and even death at the hands of the military regime. However, the resolve of the pro-democracy movement remained unwavering. After Abacha's sudden death in June 1999, General Abdulsalami Abubakar took over and initiated a transition program that eventually paved the way for the Nigeria's transition to the Fourth Republic on May 29, 1999. That's exactly the beginning of where we are right now. Olusegun Obasanjo, a former military head of the state, emerged as the winner of the 1999 presidential election, though a lot of controversies surround his emerging, and it was an election between two top candidates. We were definitely from the Southwest, and yes, a lot of controversies, but this marked the beginning of a new dawn in Nigeria. It was a new era in Nigeria's democratic journey. As we celebrate Democracy Day today, we honor the courage and resilience of Nigerians who fought for our democratic rights. We acknowledge the progress we've made so far and the challenges we still face. We urge our viewers and every citizens, both home and abroad, to understand and ask that we recommit to strengthening our democracy, promoting good governance, and building a brighter future for all Nigerians. As we reflect on this pivotal movement in our nation's history, we invite you, our viewers, to please join the conversation, share your thoughts with us, share your June 12 stories. The number to call will be on the screen shortly. How did you experience this momentous day? What is your June 12 story? And what does democracy mean to you and your household? Maybe let's celebrate Democracy Day together. And while doing this, let us remember that Nigeria is ours. The atmosphere is tense. The media space, the platforms might not be giving the exact information, but it is important that we do more research, asking the right questions, and getting detailed information about what our democratic journey is as a nation. Well, it's time to go on a short break. Stay tuned for more insights and reflections on Nigeria's Democracy Day. We will be back shortly. Many thanks for staying with People's Voice on VOP TV, still on Nigeria Democracy Day. I mean, it's 32 years post June 12, 1993, and 26 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria. It's worth celebration. The Fourth Republic in Nigeria brought relief to a lot of citizens after years of military rule, but it also came with its own set of challenges. So, I mean, it's been 26 years, so let me break it down. Let me break it down administration to administration, starting with the Olusegun Obasanjo's tenure. We began in 1999 and was until 2007. Yes, Obasanjo recorded he successfully negotiated a historic debt relief deal with the Paris Club, reducing Nigeria's external debt from $28 billion to $2.11 billion. Yes, there's so much about his administration. Some people have also said this Obasanjo internet, there's a part of the Obasanjo mobile phones and the likes, but prominent of all is also the fact that there was implementation of various reforms, including the creation of democratic constitution and electoral institutions. But he also faced criticism for human rights abuses and excessive use of force. There was also heavy allegations of corruption and cronyism marred with his administration, and we saw a lot of, I mean, it was a quick flip after that administration between him and his vice president, but that's not the story for today. Let's move on to talk about Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's tenure, which began in the year 2007 and lasted until 2010. Yes, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua established the Presidential Electoral Reform Committee to improve the credibility of elections. I mean, that's one president that came into office and actually acknowledged that the election that brought him into power was mad. He introduced a 7-point agenda focusing on infrastructure, power, education, and healthcare. He also attempted to improve foreign relations and promote national unity. He had a lot of conversation and settlement between the federal government and the Niger Delta region during his administration. But it was also faced with controversy over the 2007 election, which was widely criticized as rigged. And one of the things that stood out for him was the fact that he acknowledged that that election was not the best of it at all. And he also struggled with insecurity, particularly in the Niger Delta region at the time. But his health issues also came up, and that led to a power vacuum and succession crisis. And after Yar'Adua died on May 5, 2010, in a very sad one. I mean, the report was all over the country, even though there were speculations ahead of time that, oh, it was late, but I mean, the presidency, his family, the Northern Bloc were able to manage till the announcement was made that it passed on the 5th of May, 2010, and Goodluck Ebele Jonathan took over as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the man without shoes during his campaign. Many have actually called him lucky because from the deputy governor to governor, from governor to vice president, from vice president to president, and eventually winning an election. That's one lucky man if you ask me. So let's talk about Goodluck Jonathan's tenure, which began in the year 2010 and lasted up until 2015. Jonathan implemented reforms, including the Freedom of Information Act, made efforts to address infrastructure challenges such as power generation and road construction. Yes, a lot of institutional reforms people have talked about his influence and his efforts to make significant input in the northern region, talking about the education and all. But he also faced criticism for corruption and mismanagement of public funds. And he also struggled to address the growing security challenges, including the Boko Haram insurgency. We remember the story of the Chibok girls. These detailed explanations are important just so we understand where we began, how this First Republic began, and there's been no exactly perfect administration so far. And it seemed like for every person in power, we always say the previous government was better, and when the new one comes, there's so much to say until we find a new love and we begin to compare. Let's move on straight to Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, which began in the year 2015. 8 years, 2 terms, lasted up to 2023. And yes, Muhammadu Buhari launched a war against insurgency and made progress in reclaiming territories from Boko Haram. Muhammadu Buhari also implemented policies aimed at improving the economy and reducing corruption. But a lot of citizens have come to say, yes, he was, they accredited him to having so much integrity and would be able to fight corruption. But many Nigerians did not agree that he actually came fighting corruption with so many evidences to show for it. He was also criticized. He faced criticism for human rights abuses. Some say he doesn't even obey the rule of law. Some talk about excessive use of force and struggles to address economic challenges, including recession and unemployment in Nigeria. But that was the administration that initiated the change. Everybody wanted to change things. As a matter of fact, a lot of people could even change their marriage at the time because change was really vocal and it was a thing. But what did change do to Nigerians? I'll leave you to answer that question. Let's talk about the present regime, administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ashiwaju Jagaban, like they say, but how much of the Jagabanism are we seeing as Nigerians? Let's talk about the challenges because we can't score a president that has barely spent 2 years in office. There's another 2 years to go for his first term if it won't end there. And the challenges presently are addressing economic development and creating an enabling environment for businesses. A lot of people have also complained about the effects of his economic reforms, which, yes, looking at it from the macro angle, it might be making a lot of progress, but average citizens, the regular citizens, are looking forward to the microeconomy, which directly affects everybody. And there is also the challenge of insecurity and tackling corruption, and also power generation and infrastructure. There's been a lot of investment in that sector, and we hope that it will yield results before the end of his administration. But yes, in terms of economic development, Nigeria's external debt has been increasing, with the current administration adding about $10.23 billion to the debt in just 1 year. This raises concerns about debt sustainability and the impact on economic growth. Security also remains a significant challenge, with many communities still grappling with insurgency and banditry. The role of state governors in security matters has also been debated, with some arguing that they should have more authority to tackle security challenges in their domains. Power generation and infrastructure development are also crucial areas that require attention. But overall, each administration since 1999 has faced its unique set of challenges, and Nigeria's journey towards sustainable development and security continues. We won't stop talking, and that's why this show is all about the people, amplifying the concerns, perspectives, stories, and reality of everyday Nigeria, the people's voice. So It's Democracy Day 2025, and we are being joined by a retired banker and an elder statesman, Pa Felix Olaluwoye. Pa Felix Olaluwoye is a distinguished retired banker with a wealth of experience spanning over 3 decades. With a strong educational foundation, including diploma in banking, BSc in business administration, and an MBA in business administration, Pa Olaluwoye has built a remarkable career. From his early days at the High Court of Justice in Ibadan to his tenure as Wema Bank PLC and AfriBank Nigeria PLC, where he rose to the position of West Regional Operations Manager, Pa Olaluwoye has demonstrated exceptional leadership and expertise. After retiring in July 2006, Pa Olaluwoye has remained active, sharing his insights and experiences with others while working on nation development, particularly showing interest in building the nation that we all should be proud of. And as a respected elder statesman, he's bringing a unique perspective to the table today, and we at People's Voice are honored to have him share his thoughts and wisdom with us on People's Voice today as we celebrate 26 years of uninterrupted democracy in our nation, Nigeria. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. It's good to have you on the show because there's been a lot of miscommunication, a lot of history that has been truncated. You know, a lot of history has been rewritten, but it's important to have someone like you that, at least to an extent, have seen how Nigeria transitioned from, let's not even start from the 60s, from the Third Republic to the Fourth Republic, the struggles, the victories, where we are right now, and the challenges. But let me start by saying that, to you, what does Democracy Day mean to you, and how do you think Democracy Day, or the celebration of the June 12th, can shape Nigeria's development?
Thank you very much for the question. Nigeria is a unique country to us. Of course, it's the only country we have. And we appreciate the roles you are playing. I mean, the media are playing to put things in right perspective. Even though we still have a lot to cover, we appreciate the role played by all our democracy giants, those who have fought for this democracy we are enjoying. There is no basis to compare democracy with military governance, because our military, even though they are Nigerians, they are not from Ghana, their interest is on Nigeria. So we should appreciate whatever role they have played individually. All of them that have ruled this country in the past, they have the interest of the country at heart. Even though the roles they played at their different times may not be the best for the country or for the citizenry, but at the same time, we appreciate all the roles they have played in the past. And particularly democracy, a lot of people died. Not even those who are directly involved in fighting for democracy. I'm talking of our people who went to prison, who went on exile, a lot of them like that, including the current president. They were all over the place to make sure they fight for the goodness of the country. We appreciate the role each of them have played, particularly our president, undeclared president, Chief Kashimawo Abiodun.
Kashimawo Olawale Abiola. Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate his role, because with all the influence he had, with all the comfort he was enjoying, he could as well close his eyes and continue with his enjoyment. But he said he wants to correct the problems, part of the problems that Nigeria is facing. In the midst of wealth, where even people, is like this MTN thing, or our GSM, people who are sick, and they are on the hospital bed, they still remember to buy the chat card, to pay to call their loved ones. So in the same vein, Abiola has all the resources, but he said no, he must fight for the people. If he gets there, it is easier to use the money of the state to put things right than individual money. There's limit to which he could do with his own private resources. But using the resources of government, which is unlimited, it will impact positively on so many millions of people. And Nigeria, the only thing is that we appreciate the role they played, including himself, the wife, the children, the family, and several other people who are not even mentioned. They were not mentioned because people didn't know them. But the fact was that the subsequent government that came from Buhari, it started the recognition of Abiola, and it started the recognition of so many other people who died, even though they were no more around. But at least he made it to known that the Nigerians appreciate the role they played, and for that we commend them. We thank their family for the sacrifices the Obasanjo came in. We were all tired of military because you couldn't even identify who was there, because one military head of state will come, make an announcement, and he goes in there promising us so many things that they would do if they eventually set up. But as soon as he got in, things started filtering away. So we didn't really have much hope on them. But we said, okay, like I told you, nature abhors a vacuum. We can't just be living without somebody piloting the affairs of the country. So we accept reluctantly, even though they didn't seek our consent. They went in there. But with Obasanjo,
Obasanjo, democracy.
He raised a lot of hope. You know, he was brought in from the prison.
Yeah.
He was installed as the president through the election.
It was actually first released, campaigned for election against Olufalaye.
They already are, the two of them, you know, SDP and MPN. So, I mean... PDP. And PDP, SDP.
There was AD.
No, AD was at the state, CC Ono contested too.
Oh, okay.
At that time. But he contested with Olufalaye to their primary.
Oh.
So, but after that, Obasanjo eventually, because the powers that be, they wanted him to be the president. And everything was done to accommodate him as the president. And he went in there. He did all he could, because he traveled all over the world to appease those who are angry with us. Eventually, he got his goodwill restored, Nigerian goodwill restored, and things started moving gradually. And luckily for him, he had quality people to assist him in governance. Our Okonjo Iweala and several others, Soludo too, and as the governor of CBN, and several others, things started moving. Nigeria became a Zanosho of all eyes. And the investment which he put into that goodwill escapade was compensated through the forgiveness of our
Paris
debts.
Club debt, yeah.
So we were able to get that relief, and it worked for us. But there are a lot of things that I thought personally he could have done, because it takes a lot of courage. Because several of them, they got in there, they talk of they would give us good quality life, but a lot of other things, they couldn't take decision on it. So the courage to take decisions on vital areas of our government was lacking. That's part of the problem we have till today, till this government came in. Because it's the first time that the very difficult decision could be taken. Because by the time that's why I like the way the president made the announcement. Immediately he was warning that where subsidy which he said will go, as well as our other opponents, the PDP and the LP presidential candidate, they said it is part of their own agenda too, that they would cancel fuel subsidy.
Yeah, I think that the tough decision you've talked about is very, very important in all of this. But that declaration at the inauguration, do you think it was the right thing to do? Because that particular announcement caused a turnaround in our economic dynamic in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, our purchasing power went really, really low. You spoke about Amiko Abiola winning elections, and immediately prices started falling in the market. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office, made an announcement, and prices started going up. How do you put these two side by side?
The fact is that they are different individuals, and no matter what, if we are going this way, all of us we schedule to go a certain location, and we have other routes. So each of us may not necessarily join ourselves in going through the same route. You will go through your own route, I will go through my own route. But the ultimate is to arrive at that
the
destination.
right destination.
So the way they all went about it may be different. But to me, I support that prompt decision taken by the current president.
Okay, that's a good response, but a lot of people would argue that. Let's talk about the role of the judiciary, the legislative arm and the executive arm, understanding that there are three arms of government play which is supposed to ensure a functional democracy in Nigeria. Let's look at it from 1999 till date, even though, yes, a lot of people have said that Obasanjo's administration was flawed with a lot of irregularities when it comes to how it chose to exercise the executive power bestowed upon him. Put the judiciary, legislative arm and the executive arm together. Are they playing good roles, or are they playing effectively well in ensuring that our democracy functions?
Thank you very much. There were excuses at every level. The executive has its own excuse to offer. The legislative, they have. Similarly, the judiciary. The fact is, the three organs were set up by the Constitution. Each of them has their own assigned role to play. The judiciary, they are to adjudicate on whatever the problem is. The executive, they are to play their roles too as a check and balance. While the executive, they are the one to make pronouncement and effect the implementation. So there is no way, if they are not in concert, they will not get good results. We see a situation where the legislature is fighting the executive, and the executive may not dance to the tune of the judiciary. But the judiciary are the mediator. Whatever it is, okay, like the president, our current president went to court, Supreme Court, to interpret the rules of the local government.
Local government, yeah.
So that, luckily, before a long time, the Supreme Court interpreted that the local government is a creation of the Constitution, and they must be allowed to operate. And that is what simmers part of the tension that we have before this the pronouncement. Right. And as it is now, in the 774 local government in Nigeria now, a lot of them now, the problem before, where everybody will continue to rush to the state, or from state to the federal government, is simmering down now. The government now, at the local government, is functional.
Right.
The state government too has a lot of relief, because if anything, they are the one to be blamed. But as it is now, the local government is playing their role, even though they just started, and it takes a lot. They have been in the limbo for so many decades.
Right.
But now as it is, they have their plan to. Like the president told us that to go to the president to achieve what is currently operating now, it took him 30 years to plan. It's been after that, he wanted to be the president, and he has a lot of things. And really, when you come to think of it, if as an individual or the head of a family, you want to do certain things, you need to consult with your family members, right, wife particularly, and the children too, if they are grown up. But the fact is that you do not have that all in all power. You still have to do some consultation. So as it is now, the local government, they are doing their own, as it is, even though they just started now. Then the state is doing their own too. As it is now, the federal government now is giving to each state their share. And the share given to each state, that was being shared by the state and the local government before, is no more. The local government are getting their own share of the budget, direct. While the state too, they are doing their own function.
Direct. So everybody can function effectively well within
and the tension in the community will continue to, will eventually go off.
So we should expect more from the local governments at this time?
Obviously, they are the closest to the people. So if things are moving the way it is, quality people will struggle to be in that local government chair. It's not just left for never do well in the communities. Okay,
but I want you to answer in one word. Do you think that judiciary, legislative, and executive arms are functioning well, adequately?
Absolutely. They are doing their roles. They are playing their roles.
With all the court cases, because it's been said, sir, that in Nigeria, once you are preparing for campaign as a politician, you also keep money for court cases, because for everybody that loses election in Nigeria, they must go to court.
like our sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo said, that poor people, you as a leader, if you are a poor leader, you cannot defend the poor who are in the majority. So you need to be well off. That's why I supported the capitalist function that was available. People want to earn money, but it must be legitimate.
All right.
So once it's legitimate, no matter what happens, there is no way. Even this, look at our country too. A lot of people also are impatient. They don't want to wait to observe. A country that have been having problems even since independence.
Yeah, that would bring me to, I like the fact that you were here at that time. Let's talk about your personal experience as an elder statesman. What's your personal experience? How has your experience been with democracy in Nigeria, and what challenges have you faced? I mean, you've been able to see more than one republic. So tell us your experience.
I think even though we are growing, experiencing so many things,
right?
Then, unfortunately, the war we went through, which was uncalled for, that was part of what, you can see our brothers and sisters from the eastern part who are here in the western side or other side of Nigeria. They just packed their loads and said they were going to war. In fact, as kids then, we were mobilized to look for bottles. Got it bottles for them, which they packed and took to the east to do bombs. So we felt it. The people we are going together, our age mate, just packed overnight and left. So it was a sad commentary. But we thank God, as things were, even though we didn't like the war really depressed so much of our growth.
Yeah, and a lot of setback for the country.
So, but we thank God we are all together again. And for instance, in the western side, a lot of our people who are in urban centers, our brothers from the east, the Yorubas, they kept their money for them. Those who have houses, they kept their rent for them. And when eventually they came, and they released it to them, and none of them could blame anybody. They were all happy coming back, and it was easier for them to start up again. So those are part of the dark
experiences, yeah,
of that decade. But things started moving. To tell you that I'm giving you my opinion. The military were the cause of the problem of Nigeria. They were. Because if we have been allowed, if the politicians have been allowed to be operating, they will learn from their mistakes. If they have learned from their mistakes, then we won't be at this level, even though we are not complaining, because even in Europe too, they experience it. The various countries in Europe, they experience it. But in our own case, I think we will get out of our own if we are a little patient, particularly for this government. If we are a little patient for this government, things will move. Gradually, to just wake up overnight and get things moving. Things that have been damaged for 50 years, it's not possible. So my appeal to our members, to our people, is let us observe, or let us be patient a little more. So you don't start castigating things. I know no matter what the government does, we have some people who have the mindset to continue to criticize. Nothing stop anybody from criticizing, but it must be a constructive criticism.
Right. Because
today somebody is here, tomorrow you may be there. So as time goes on, but my own area of anxiety was that life is not stagnant. Because as things are now, nobody knows when the time will come. So this is the reason why I'm in a hurry to see things improve.
All right, you are definitely going to see more.
Yes, our children will be at peace with themselves, and they will be, the environment, the conducive environment will be there for them to move, to work and live a good life. So similarly, my own generation lived, and we enjoyed the time when we were youths. Even when we started working, things were so. Is this same country? My first car was bought 2,345 naira, Volkswagen, 2,345. Peugeot was 4,400, depending on the model, on the edition. So this okay. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Some of my friends, they were criticizing government. The exchange rate was this. Exchange currencies were not a shelf material where you just go to you are buying over time, over tin, you are buying milk. No. If we don't have foreign currency through our production, it's not possible. That's what weakened our currency. Our currency is weakened because there was nothing we are producing here. No matter what the government does, it's going to be hard. If we start things, our people start production, and the environment is very conducive for productivity. So things will move forward. That's the consolation I have. No matter what, once the basic problems are resolved, we will get there.
All right, productivity is very important for our currency to gain weight. I mean, we need to get back to the point where we are, even not necessarily what was experienced in the 60s, 50s, but I mean, if we do better with production, like Paolo would have said, we will definitely get better when it comes to competitiveness with the international market. But what do you think is the most significant challenge that is facing our democracy today? And how can we address this?
Well, thank you very much. I said it that we need a little patience more. It's not something we use hand to rule.
Yeah, but what's the main challenge?
The main challenge is that of leadership, which has a lot of problems caused by the lack of leadership have been there pending for a long time. But we are having an inkling of a good leader. So let us be patient and see things moving. And I like the liberalism of the media. We have so many of you who are now fighting for the people. So with that, the government too is listening. Because there was no issue you raised, within 24 hours, they will respond to it. So, and they will give assurance. But it's not just outright, my own is not outright condemnation, no. We continue to offer constructive criticism.
You said that we have the problem of leadership.
Yes.
And you've also said that we should be patient. We are been blessed with a leader like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes.
But in your opinion, is Bola Tinubu the best Nigeria could have gotten?
To date, I'm talking of from independence. He's the best president to me. Because number one, a lot of areas that people are running away from, and look at our previous head of state, even they tried their best too. Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't care about the problems or the feedback, which is negative up to today. But the fact is, he wanted this thing to be resolved once and for all. So that issue of subsidy, how long have we done it? Since military time of Obasanjo, we've been having a subsidy, you know. So sometimes in the office we hear that they are going to increase fuel. Sometimes I heard about this about 9 p.m. one Friday evening. I had to go to filling station to queue till about 11.
Doctor, do you know that people are hungry?
Of course, there is no when has people not be hungry in this country? When has people not be?
If subsidizing fuel was the only leveling factor,
does it go to those the subsidy? Does it go to those who are in need of it? It doesn't. It's not possible.
But it sort of reduce the cost of things in the market. How
many of them that are enjoying the subsidy we are talking about? They are not up to 50. I've seen so many of my contemporaries. They were part of these things, this subsidy racket. They employ people to come and be filling form. Who didn't import anything, they get paid. Because all they needed is to share money with those people in the authority to pay. But that subsidy to me,
as much as that needed to end, seeing the fraudulent activity happening around it, do you think that there were measures that could have been taken to cushion the effects better than what we have today? I mean, giving people rice, beans, groundnut oil is never the way to end poverty.
It's not possible. It's not the way. You are right. But the fact is that this subsidy issue we are talking about, we are subsidizing other countries in the neighborhood, in our neighboring countries. So you travel from here to Cotonou, you see them on the road. When you fly through Idiroko, you see them selling fuel in the bottles and so on. So many things. So with this fuel, a lot of our people went to establish filling station at the border post, so that once they load at the port, they take it there, and from there they started selling to to the other countries. Okay, imagine what is it called? This this our Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
They went on strike when Nigeria introduced
subsidy removal. They were on strike. What is their relationship as a country? Their standing is maybe they are caring for us. They are
caring
standing
for
in
us? No. They were the one benefiting. They were the one benefiting. Like I was in the north. I experienced it too. We have so many of our people. They take the truck. In fact, two of my customers, their trucks were seized because they were. One of my customers, they named him 1 million a day because he made when a truckload was selling for 230,000. He sold his own 1 million.
So that's how they name.
They name him 1 million per day. I mean a day. So all these things we are not really for our people. It's for the externalities. So we need to really appreciate what is being done now. It will not be easy for us, but I know with a little more patience, things will move. Nigeria is so resilient that, okay, you can imagine a lot of our people who have, what do they say, Japa. They ran away. The fact is, this country is where we are born. This country will be okay. It doesn't take anything. A time there was when in Britons, Indians, they were lecturers. They taught me in the university days. So if things were, with their population growing, if things were normal for them, they won't leave their country for Nigeria. A lot of other French citizens, they came to Nigeria too. They did a lot of things for us. They lectured us in schools. They even, the Ghanaians, they were part of those who lecture my children in the evenings.
Okay, let me come to the president now. Let me ask you a more direct question as a progressive that you are. In his address at the National Assembly today, the president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, said that our nation, Nigeria, is not perfect, but it's definitely a strong nation. He also told critics that the opposition to call him any name whatsoever they choose, but he is not here to make them happy, saying that he is. I don't want to say the way.
Go ahead now.
He said that he's actually happy. He said there was a particular word that he used. He's actually happy to see them in disarray. How do you react to the president saying all of this on a day like this?
I've not really, I didn't listen to I've not read it anyway. The fact is that there is no way, we shouldn't be looking for faults of the president or any of the people in authority.
The president was a strong opposition too, and he didn't stop criticizing other governments.
But he did the opposition.
The president led protests when he had to.
I consider one to anybody who has that opinion. I mean, I didn't join them when Gani Fahimi called for at his own this in Ojota. I didn't go because I've been warned by my uncle. God, the time there was, I went to watch football at the stadium. So that night there was riot. It was my brother who, when I got back home, that told me that, where did I go? Did I see? I said I didn't know anything. I said 12 people laid dead in the stadium. They put them on banana or plantain leaves.
Yeah, to wrap them up.
That was the last time I went to watch.
So that was why he didn't join the protest.
That's why.
But let's take your reaction to the position of the president.
Well, like I told you, I didn't really get I've not gotten the details of what he said. But the fact is, I know my own area of reasoning is that people are not happy. A lot of us are disenfranchised because we don't have what it takes. People need a hungry man is an angry man, no doubt. And I considered that to the citizenry. At the same time, I thank him too. He was never distracted. He was on the plow. He held on to the plow and he was moving. In spite of all the abuse and all the various castigation, he never looked at that. But a leader, that's part of the quality of a good leader. You don't just start chasing, commenting on crowds, on the noise and so on from the crowd. But don't lose focus on your attention, where you are going, Face it and let us see result.
All right.
But not too long before we see result. So let's just hope, like in his slogan, renew hope. I believe once we are still alive, let's keep hope alive.
All right, looking ahead, what hopes and aspirations do you have for the Nigerian democratic future, and how, I mean, what role do you think that citizens can play too? Because the focus has always been on, oh, this is the governor, this is the party. Today you see politicians, they campaign to other party. Once they lose elections somewhere, it's about relevance for that class. But talk about the masses now, talk about the everyday citizens like me. What role do you think we can play in shaping our democracy?
You should be active, including myself too. We should be active in contributing our quota by suggestions, feedback, and so on. Not by going to riot. It has never worked. So let's be, like I first mentioned in my opening statement, I should commend the media, both the print and the publishing group. We should make sure that we are at alert too. We shouldn't compromise. Let us face the fact. We are all concerned. We are all citizens.
Right.
So if the country is okay, it's okay for us. A lot of our people have traveled abroad because of one problem or the other. They are coming. They won't even need to announce to anybody they are coming. When this country stabilized and things are moving the way we expected it, with good leadership. So our people too, be with the democracy we are running. No detention for anybody. Nobody is running after anyone. Let us be patient with our leaders. And we should be praying for them too.
All right. Thank you very much, Pa Felix, for joining People's Voice today. I hope that you have a great Democracy Day celebration, and every part of your life will continue to yield good results, and you will live to see the Nigeria that you hope for.
Thank you very much. I'm most grateful for the opportunity you.
All right. And to our viewers, happy Democracy Day again, Nigeria.
Thank you.
May our democratic journey continue to inspire hope, unity, and prosperity for all.
Thank you very
much. My
much.
name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and I strongly believe